Next, let's talk about how to use expressions in Maya to control attributes. In actual production, we basically never use this method. Because the evaluation efficiency of expressions is lower, their execution speed is generally slower than using direct attribute connections, or the utility nodes we'll talk about later. So unless there's a very special situation, we generally don't use expressions. From my personal experience in all my time working, I have never used an expression in any rig. So here we just need to know it exists, and that's enough. So how do we create an expression? We can select any object, then select an attribute, and in Edit, find the first option, Expressions. Let's click it. A new window will pop up. This window is for creating expressions. We can see here, in this top section, it has the driven objects attributes. We can select the attribute we want to control. But generally, if we are going to create an expression, a better way is to change the filter in the menu bar to expression name. This way, it's categorized by each expression, because if we're writing expressions, we might put multiple expressions together for the same function. Okay, let's write an expression here. For example, we'll write a test expression, and down here, we start writing the actual function. So here, let's say the driven objects translate x. We want it to equal the driver objects translate y. Let's create. If we do that, we'll see our driven objects translate x value. In front of it, there's a purple box. This purple color represents an expression. Let's test it. When we move it, it will produce this corresponding effect. And of course, because it's an expression, we can modify and edit it. For example, let's make it 2 times. This way, its range of motion will be greater. Of course, when it comes to expressions, they can have many relatively complex effects. We won't go into too much detail here, because as we mentioned at the start, the use of expressions is actually very rare in productions. It's enough for us to just know that this exists.